Hi, everyone. Welcome to Ronin's Reviews. A couple weeks ago, we played Perils and Princesses. Perils and Princesses is a game created by Ryan Lynch, Outrider Creative. It is a game where you play princesses. Uh, Princess kind of being a gender neutral term, but you play princesses and you go on interesting adventures where you fight goblins, save dragons from ravening princesses, all kinds of fun things. So, this is where we're going to come back and go over a review of the system. This is a review of the game itself, not of the session that was ran. This is not a critique of the game master or the players. This is literally just us looking at the mechanics, the rules, and the game itself, and just kind of giving our opinions and our thoughts of it. So, starting out, let's start with Kara. What are your initial thoughts? You were the game master. You were the person who ran it together. What are your initial thoughts of Perils and Princesses?
It definitely felt and ran exactly the way that I thought it would. Just from reading it and looking at the art, it gives a very clear impression of the kinds of stories that it would be good at telling. And I felt like it held up, like mechanically, it did the thing it set out to do. I really enjoyed it.
All right, Howard.
I really enjoyed it from the standpoint of what I feel like it can do. The game ran really nice and easy. It was just like it has enough story beats for you to be able to play things. And it's not something that I'm particularly interested in, but to getting my daughters who are a little younger and it ran light enough for what I feel like kids could play in, but still having the meatiness and the ability to storytell that like adults could have fun with. So I'm really excited that this is something I could get to the table probably with my daughters very soon.
All right, Eric.
Um, so it's not exactly a game that I'm going to go out and seek to play, but on the mechanical sides of things, it did a fantastic job. I'm going to say something and it might elicit a reaction, but it kind of plays like Morkborg with a big healthy dose of pink and glitter slapped on top of it. It's an seriously, the mechanic is very easy to get your head wrapped around. All the princesses have their own little special ability, kind of like the classes in Morkborg. There wasn't this huge amount of hit points you have to worry about on your end or on the enemy's end when we got into combat. And it really felt like each one was its own unique little character niche. And it played really well. It played very smooth. So I had fun with it. A lot more than I actually anticipated, to be honest.
I'm kind of gonna mirror the same sentiments as everybody else. I will say that coming into this game, I was only playing it because my goal in life is to play as many different TTRPG systems as possible, and Kara wanted to run it for people. It's like, hey, we've got a table right here. Let's run this. I did not anticipate liking this game or wanting to play it again, and now I own two of the books for it. And when the third book comes out, I'm gonna be getting it as well. That is the Night Markets book. All in all, I like the game. I like the game. I like the game's theme. I like the mechanics of it. I like the heart dice. I like the gift dice. I loved everything about this game. Like, I did not anticipate that. I mean, I'm a bearded cis white man and I like the idea of playing a princess, so I don't know. I really enjoyed this game a lot. But I want to dig down into that mechanic of it. How did we feel about the D20 roll under system? I know that it's not an uncommon system, but it's not super common. Like that D20 roll under, usually when you see a roll under system, it's the D100 roll under. I personally thought the D20 rolling under that was elegant. It was simple. It was straightforward, and I really enjoyed it, but I'd like to hear all of you guys' thoughts. Let's start with Howard this time.
You want to know what? I've played several roll under systems. I've played ones that are 2d6 or D10, D100, and then I've played a couple of D20s actually, and I actually just really like it because you always know what you're trying to hit. It doesn't make it feel like as confusing, especially if you're playing with new players. Just like playing with new players, sometimes they're very nervous, or also like coming from the experience of being a father and playing with my kids, it's always like there's this like I have to do all this extra stuff, and I'm so scared about everything. It's like if they just know what they have to hit and they know what they roll, there's almost more of a comfort, and they can relax into playing a little bit more. And I really liked it.
Okay. Kara?
I really liked that as well. It's not having modifiers, not having things that are changing the numbers, but just here's your number, roll it or less is very simple. I'm also a little more used to this mechanic. There's another homebrew system that I play in a lot, and we do a lot of roll under. And I think actually I believe Roll Under also comes from a little bit of second edition. I'm remembering us doing some of that in our Monday night game where you're trying to roll under your stats. So there's definitely a basis for it. One of the things that, because you guys all used pre generated characters that you may not know if you didn't dig in and read the book, is coming up with those numbers, rolling for stats. If you make your own princess, you roll 4d4, not d6s, 4d4 to make your stat. So the highest stat you can possibly have at the start of this game is a 16, and most likely your stats are going to be lower than that. So it's interesting because it has a wider margin for error than I am used to, but I'll get into this a little later. I think that actually encouraged some of the gameplay that it wanted to encourage, and I loved that about the system.
All right, Eric?
Gonna mirror what other people have been saying. It's a very easy to get into mechanic. It's not confusing. I love that in a game. The quicker we can go from not playing the game to playing the game and understanding what we're doing, the better. So yeah, that system does what it's looking to do in getting people to the table playing the game in a quick way.
I think that's a very, very good point. I didn't read the rule book at all.
Yeah.
I didn't even look. I didn't know what anything meant when we started playing. I literally looked at all the character sheets, the pre-gens. I said, I want Princess Fern. I did not even know what she did until we sat down. I'm like, oh, I can talk to animals. I didn't know that prior to the start of the game. So knowing absolutely nothing to completely understanding the mechanics within 5 minutes is a testament to the game. Like, you can pick it up without any knowledge and be playing in 5 minutes if the person running the game knows even a little bit about it. So I'm going to say something that's going to irritate some folks. But to the people that say D&D 5e is an easy system, no, this is an easy system. This is what easy looks like. So when you say, oh, I don't want to try new systems because I don't want to spend hours or days or months learning a new system, 5 minutes at most, you're going to be up and playing this in 5 minutes. And it's not expensive. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of great games out there, and I think the D20 roll under, as Howard said, you know what your target is. There's no armor class for the enemy. I'm rolling to attack. I roll my resolve. I roll the dice. I got a 12. I needed an 11. I miss. I needed a 12. I got a 12. I hit. Then you roll your damage. You're done. It's simple, snappy, and you're going. But I will say in this system, there are the thing that I think sets it apart from other systems, and I think other systems have things similar, but they're the heart dice and the gift dice. And I'm going to let Kara explain what those are because you ran the game, and then we will give kind of our thoughts. Give your thoughts afterwards, and then we'll start in as well.
Sure thing. So the heart dice are basically a resource that you can use two different ways. They're represented by D4s, and you can either spend them during a picnic, which is this game's version of a rest, in order to regain hit points if you have lost any. And the second way that you can use the heart dice is you can use them to modify a friend's failed roll. So you're basically giving them that number to subtract to help them try and get under their score that they're aiming for. And that is where I was kind of leading with the if you have more of a chance to fail, it kind of encourages you to spend these heart dice and to help your companions. It's literally a mechanic that bakes in the idea of cooperation and teamwork and helpfulness in a way that I don't always see in other games being reinforced mechanically like that. So I loved that during our session that you guys were spending heart dice to help each other make your rolls.
I believe
And then
at
do you
one
want me to go
point,
into gift dice too?
yeah, we'll go into that in a second. But the heart dice, I
Sure.
believe there was one point I rolled and I was literally one below or one above what I
Yeah.
needed, and Laura's like, "I'm gonna give him a heart die," and it was pretty cool that like that is there. I also did kind of like the fact that you have to kind of narratively explain what
Yeah.
that looks like, to kind of create that collaborative storytelling.
Mhm.
But yes, go into the gift dice.
Absolutely. And then the gift dice are D6s. You get one per level, and the pre-gen characters all start at level 2, so you have 2 of them. When you're using your gift die, first you have to decide, are you going to roll just one? Are you going to roll multiples? Because there can be things that happen if you are rolling more than one of them. Each gift dice, it depends on what gift you're using. That's different for each of the different, what do they call it? The classes, whatever they call the classes for the princesses. I'm going to space out on that right now. Or gifts, just your gift, what your gift is.
Yes.
And yeah, it's a simple word. It matches the dice. The first thing is if you roll a 1, a 2, or a 3 on your gift dice, then you have whatever happens with your gift happen and they return to you so you can use them again. If you roll a 4, a 5, or a 6, they are used up and you will not get that die back until after a rest. If you roll doubles when you are rolling your gift dice, there are mishap tables that are different for each gift. And we did not get to get into those because nobody rolled doubles in our session. But the mishaps are very fun and very flavorful.
All right. Howard, why don't you give us your thoughts on the gift dice and the heart dice?
Heart die. I really like it, and anytime I'm playing a game, I try to find reasons to use the things because I want to, especially when you're doing a one shot, because it's not going to affect a larger narrative. I want to try to use those things, and so it was really fun, especially because I'm trying to now get in the mindset of, okay, like a gift dice. Okay, how am I participating in what everybody's doing, so that I can do whatever this is and try to experience what's going on with these dice. And with the heart dice, I remember sitting there thinking about it, and there was a time I think I rolled one heart dice, and I was like considering rolling two because of the randomness of being able to roll doubles and see a mishap or something, and it never ended up happening like Kara said, but I like the way that all of that worked and interacted, and how it made me think about like how am I interacting with the other players, and I enjoyed that aspect.
Eric.
Man, everybody said all the good stuff already. No, but seriously, the heart dice I think are the mechanic that I liked the most out of the two of them. If I had to say which one would have been my favorite, it's the heart dice, and it's because it encourages that collaborative storytelling to get you to help out other people. Very few games do that. D&D doesn't. I mean, I guess if you want to stretch it, inspiration dice from the Bard. Fabula Ultima kind of has it where you can give people a bonus when you do a group check. But this just feels more impactful. Like the check actually gives more of a benefit than a static like +1 or +2. Like it gives that, I don't know, it just feels a little more weighty.
Yeah, I can see that. I I didn't really use either when we played, but I do like the idea of the gift dice where depending upon the roll, the strength of your gift is more, you get more out of it. The mishap table is there, and it's I don't know. I think it's just unique, and having something that kind of sets your game apart, like the heart and the gift dice, is a benefit and a feature. And I really enjoyed that, and I thought it really completed that game, and it emphasized the princess aspect, right? The heart dice. Princesses are known for being kind and helpful and encouraging. And there's this mechanic that emphasizes that. So thematically, it makes sense. Mechanically, it encourages that type of storytelling. And it just does what it's supposed to. So I guess we're going to come to that point in our usual breakdowns. Did you feel like the game did what it was set out to do? And I'm going to start with Eric with this. How did you feel Perils and Princesses did with what it promised?
It delivered on what it's promised. On a 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10, I give it a 10 on that. It's set out to give you a fun game where you play as a princess and they have cool little abilities. Perfect score on that. It captured that.
Howard.
You want to know what? I think that it would be perfect for my daughter that likes to play a princess but still likes to go on adventures. This is a perfect game for her. It's very accessible, but at the same time feels like it's something that she can really get into and play the characters that she wants to play. And so I love this. And I'm going to love to run this as her dad. And I'm excited for the journeys that I'm going to have with it. 10 out of 10.
Kara.
Absolutely 10 out of 10. I want to run Sweet Revenge. I think it would be super fun to actually get into. I feel like that would end up being about a mini campaign, and yeah, it did what it set out to do, and this is my wheelhouse and one of my favorite genres. So of course I am going to love it.
I as well. I'm gonna mimic that same praise. 10 out of 10 on it. Wanted to emulate playing princesses in a fantasy world, doing fantasy adventures, and honestly, this game more than delivers on that. Also, if you look through the book, I got a shout out to Ryan for all of his art. The art in this book is fantastic. It definitely, if you look at it, it gives you that sense of like the Brothers Grimm, all of that. Just from the design, the play, the mechanics, it does exactly what it's supposed to do. And not a lot of games deliver on the promise of what they're trying to do as well as this one did. So this will bring us to our final question in these. If you had to give it a rating overall, not just on theme and all of that, what rating would you give this game, and how likely are you to play it again? And with this one, I'm going to start with Kara.
For me, I don't think you can get a whole lot better than this. I really enjoyed it. I would give it a 10 out of 10 overall. And as to playing it again, I'm actually playing in a mini campaign as a player right now because I wanted to experience it from the other side of the table. And I'm already looking at trying to get a group together to run it myself again. So, yes, all of the yes.
Howard.
I definitely enjoyed the game. I'm super excited that I found a game that I think that my daughter will be a lot more excited to play. We've tried playing a couple other things, and it's been up and down. But I think that this is something a lot more in her wheelhouse. She's going to enjoy it. So, yeah, definitely, I'm going to be playing it again, and I give it a 10 out of 10.
All right, Eric.
So it's not a game that I would probably seek out if I was invited to play by people that wanted to run it and were friends. I would play again. I'm going to give it a high rating though, because it has that kind of I want to call it Shrek appeal for families. So it's good. It's a good game to play with kids. but it's also set up in a way that the adults can have fun playing it with the kids at the same time.
Mhm.
They're not going to get bored at the table playing the game with their kid. And I mean, I have younger brothers and sisters. Being an adult, sometimes it gets boring watching the kids shows and playing the kids games at the table. It just does. I don't think this will be a case with this particular game. So if you're somebody who has kids that would be interested in this, or this is just your genre, I'll give it a solid 9 out of 10. Like I said, it's not something I'll seek out, but I think it's perfect for its target audience.
I'm a little of I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. I don't think this is the best game that I've ever played, and that's not a knock on it. I don't think it's the best TTRPG I've ever played. I do think it is kind of pigeonholed in the type of stories it's going to tell. It is a game about princesses and telling fantasy stories. So I don't think that's a problem, but I can't give it a 10 out of 10, but I can give it a 9 out of 10. I will definitely play this again. I would be anxious to see how it plays in a long form campaign, because playing a one shot of it in a long form campaign could probably be different. I think it'll do just fine, but I don't know for sure. But yeah, all in all, I like the game a lot. I got both the books afterwards and have promoted it quite a bit. So I think it does what it's supposed to. It's a lot of fun. I like how Eric labeled it with that Shrek appeal. I'm going to use that to describe things in the future. That was a smart way to put it. But yeah, all in all, Ryan, you did a great job with this game. The art is fantastic. Everything is great. And overall, a pretty solid score. 2 10 out of 10s and 2 9 out of 10s on Ronin's Den is a good review. So yeah, thank you, Kara and Howard, for being here. I'm Steve. As always, I'm joined by my co-host Eric. This has been Ronin's Reviews. You all have a great day.